This podcast is produced by the Harwood Productions Podcast Network. To learn more about the network and to find more of our shows, visit us online at www.harwoodpodcast.com.
Hi, I'm Helene Woods. Welcome to Let's Quilt, episode number 7. Now that we have all of our strips all cut into our 1.5 inch pieces, and I have my light, dark, light, and my dark, light, dark in piles, I'm going to put these together and I'm going to show you how we're going to nest them together. I'm going to suggest that you take your pin and you line up going into your seam line on one of them. Come through on the other side and see how close you're getting to that seam line. And then when you do that, then you can pin it. And then when we sew our seam, it'll be nice and straight. Now I'm going to start chaining our units together. I like to lay mine all out so that I have the basic color that I want on the top. So when I take them out of the chain, they will be in the same direction. So now I'm going to start sewing a 1/4 inch seam. Now I removed my pin and I'm getting close to the end of my first little unit here. I'm going to pick up another one. And as I go off of the end of the unit, I'm just going to take 2 or 3 stitches, and then I can just feed this next one right in, right behind it. And this is where we get the chaining effect. And let me show you that again. Take out my pin, keep right on going. Getting towards the end here, I'm going to stop. I'm going to pick up another piece, go off the end, 2 or 3 stitches, lay this on, and the feed dog will pick that up and bring it right on through. All right, I'm going to finish up this unit here. Cut it off. I'm going to take it. And here I'm going to show you what it looks like, and why it's important for you to keep your units all in the right direction. Now I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut these, and then we're going to go press them. I have my little half units all laid here, and I want to show you something why it's so important to keep them all stacked and going in the same direction. As we start to pressing, remember we always press and have our seam allowances going to the dark side. So if we have our dark piece of fabric here on top, and if we just turn it over and press it out, then you will see that the seam allowance is facing in the dark side. Seam allowance, the way we want it to be. Now we're going to get ready and we're going to sew on our next dark, light, dark fabric, and make sure that it's going over on top of the dark center. We'll press those on there. There again, most important to make sure that we get our nesting right, so when we open these all up, they'll look nice and straight. As we start placing these on, I want you to remember to have your squares in the opposite corners, so that you don't want to, if you put them in there like this, that doesn't look very good. So remember, opposite corners. And put them together and we nest again. I have all my little units all pinned together, so I'm going to start making another 1/4 inch seam, and we're going to be chaining these together just like we did the other ones. Here I'm going to get, I'm coming to the end of my, my line. I'm going to take 3 or 4 more stitches. Just put the fabric right in there, let the feed dot catch it, and it'll go right through. As you get into quilting more, you're going to understand why this chaining procedure is so nice. Because if the other way, you would have to take each stitch out, cut it off, start another one, and this is so simple. And actually, I think it's probably more accurate. Okay, 1 more to go. Okay, here we are, we're into our last one. I'm going to cut this off. I'm going to lay these down just like I did before. Take my scissors and cut those apart. We've got them all lined up here, our little patches, and I'm going to turn, what I've done to make sure that the dark one is on the top, so then when I turn it over, then that seam allowance will be facing the dark side of our patch. And there we go. There again, we'll do that again. I'm going to turn this over and make sure that our seam allowances are facing each other, so they are both facing the dark fabric. And then we'll give it another little iron. Now we have our 9 patch laying here, and it looks very well. I want you to take the time now to look at the corners and see how they're matching up. If you've got one that's very, very bad, 1/8 of an inch or something like that, then this is the time to loosen up your stitches and redo it again and make sure that you get it nice and straight. When you get done sewing all your patches together, you'll have 22 of them. And then next time we get together, we're going to work on cutting out the little single squares that will be going in between out of this fabric here. I'll see you next time.